What if events went differently? What if Yoda went to Mustafar to fight Darth Vader? Imagine Yoda was the one who stepped off of Padme's ship onto the scorched surface of Mustafar, face to face with the fallen chosen one. Welcome back, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, to another brand new episode. My name is Max Charlebois, aka MissedThePart, and we're continuing Star Wars Week with part 2 of our epic What If saga. Previously, we witnessed a universe where Obi-Wan Kenobi faced Darth Sidious in a desperate bid to stop the rise of the Sith. But now, the battle shifts to Mustafar, where Yoda himself must confront the raw fury and heartbreak of Anakin Skywalker, now fully transformed into Darth Vader. It's not just a duel, it's a tragic reckoning between a master and the galaxy's greatest lost hope. As lava boils and destiny burns, can even the wise Grand Master himself turn the tide? Before we begin, don't forget to check out the exclusive merch, Grand Theft Kenobi. It's available right now on the Fourth Wall page. I would highly recommend checking out the merchandise. It's available exclusively on Star Wars Week, from the high ground to the hood. If you've ever imagined Obi-Wan trading robes for street gear and walking away from the Jedi Code, now is your chance to wear that vision. So again, grab yours, my fellow watchers, before it's gone, because once it's gone, it won't be coming back on the MissedThePart Fourth Wall website. It will be gone for good. And all of the proceeds do go back into helping the channel out and help continue promoting and putting out this content. So again, it is a massive help. And of course, massive gratitude to our Patreon supporters and our YouTube members. You're the reason we're able to keep creating these multiverse crossovers week after week and doing monthly, crazy episodes like this and having Star Wars Week and hosting Gaming Week. It's just an absolute crazy thing. So if you want early access, behind the scenes videos, and the power to be able to shape upcoming storylines, hit that join button or check out the Patreon. That being said, the lava awaits. Let's dive into what if Yoda fought Anakin on Mustafar. The skies of Coruscant were no longer gold. Ash hung in the upper atmosphere, dimming the city's lights beneath a gray veil. Smoke trailed from distant sectors where clone troopers had stormed buildings without warning. The Jedi Temple, once the highest peak in the skyline, now stood like a black tooth against the dim horizon. Senator Padme Amidala stood on the balcony of her apartment, wrapped in a shawl too thin for the chill. Her eyes were hollow, her hands clutched her midsection, as if holding herself together. She hadn't slept. She hadn't cried. Not since Anakin stopped coming home. Behind her, the door hissed open. She turned quickly, expecting Anakin. But it wasn't him. It was Master Yoda. Small, quiet, eyes older than the Republic itself. Padme stiffened, her voice barely a whisper. "He's not here." Yoda didn't answer. He only looked at her with the sorrow of a man who had seen too many truths. "I know." They sat inside, the room dimly lit by city light bleeding through the curtains. Padme poured tea with trembling hands, but did not drink it. Yoda did not touch his. The silence stretched. Then, "There are rumors," Padme said, "of the temple, the council, the clones." Yoda finally spoke. "More than rumor they are." She closed her eyes. "Anakin hasn't come back. I've tried everything. Messages, private channels. The Senate says he's on assignment of his own choosing." Padme met his gaze. "What do you mean?" Yoda inhaled, slow and steady. "Fallen, he has." Her breath caught. "No." Turned to the Dark Side by Darth Sidious, the true face of Chancellor Palpatine. The words dropped like stones. That's not true. Wish it were. Padme stood, pacing now, trying to find a lie to hold on to. He said the Jedi were traitors, that they were plotting against the Republic. Yoda looked down, because that is what he was told. Fed lies he was, isolated, afraid, promised power to save you. Padme froze. He told you about me. No, but I knew. Always I knew. She sat again, shaking. So that's it? He's gone? Yoda's voice cracked for the first time. Gone. Not entirely, but slipping. Quicker than any of us feared. After a moment, Yoda straightened. Obi-Wan has gone to confront the Emperor. Padme looked up in horror. He's going alone? Chose to. Would not face Anakin. Could not. He'll die. Yoda didn't argue. Perhaps. She wiped her eyes with her sleeve. Take me to him. Yoda tilted his head. To Anakin? Yes. Too dangerous it is. He will listen to me. A long pause. Yoda studied her. Through the Force, through the eyes of someone who had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations. He nodded, slowly. Perhaps the last light you are. Padme reached for her coat. She looked pale, shaken, but resolute. Then let's go before that light goes out. They left through the service lift, quiet, hidden. No guard, no security. Only two figures bound by grief. As the doors closed behind them, the hollow screen on the wall buzzed faintly. A public broadcast. The Republic is being reorganized into the First Galactic Empire. Padme didn't look back. Yoda didn't need to. The Naboo cruiser broke through the ash clouds of Mustafar, like a white arrow cutting across a bleeding sky. The world below raged. Veins of fire split the planet in molten rivers. Smoke columns twisted like black vines into the upper atmosphere. And the fortress in the distance stood like a dark crown on a throne of ruin. Inside the cockpit, Padme sat in silence. Her hands trembled in her lap, though she clenched them tightly to stop it. Her heart beat faster the closer they drew to the landing pad. Across from her, Yoda sat still as stone, his eyes half closed, breathing slow. He wasn't meditating, he was listening to the Force, to the pain in it, to the scar that pulsed like a wound. Anakin. Padme finally spoke, her voice dry, small. Do you feel him? Yoda didn't open his eyes. Feel him? I do. A long pause. Then you know he's still in there. Yoda finally looked up. In there, he is, but buried. Padme turned to the viewport, blinking back the tears. Her voice quivered. He wasn't always like this. He was kind. He was angry, but he was good. The council never saw him. They were afraid of him, but I saw him. Yoda's voice came quiet, gentle. As did I. Padme turned to him, surprised. You did? Clouded the Order became, arrogant, blind, saw only the power, not the pain, never asked why fear followed him, never listened. The ship rocked slightly as it entered the descent vector. The fortress loomed larger now, jagged and burning. Padme whispered, then help me bring him back. Yoda stared at the flame-glow horizon. Try, I will. But save him. He must choose. The ship touched down on a fractured landing platform. The heat shimmered off the metal like water on glass. The silence was oppressive. The wind, thin and cruel. Padme stepped out first, hesitant, then steady. Behind her, Yoda descended slowly, his cane clicking softly against the durasteel. They crossed the narrow bridge toward the fortress gates, and then the doors opened. A lone figure stood within the shadow. Anakin. No armor,
no mask. Black robes swept in the wind, his eyes shadowed beneath the brow. He stopped halfway across the bridge. Padme gasped. "Anakin!" He said nothing. The wind carried his cloak like a phantom behind him. He looked at her, not with fury, but with emptiness. His voice, when it came, was hollow. "Why did you bring him here?" Yoda didn't speak, not yet. Padme stepped forward. "I came for you." Anakin's jaw tightened. His hands twitched at his sides. "You shouldn't have." Padme took another step. "You're not beyond saving." "I am what I was meant to become." Yoda finally stepped forward. Meant or made. Anakin turned his head, slowly. "You." "Yes," Yoda said. The two faced each other across the bridge. The lava roared below. "Came to kill me, did you?" "No," Yoda said. "Came to see if something remains." Anakin snarled. "You think words will change what's already done?" "No," Yoda said, "but truth might." A beat passed. Then Anakin ignited his saber. "Then speak your truth before I end it." Yoda said nothing. He reached beneath his cloak and ignited his own. Green met red in the smoke. The red blade hissed through the air like a striking viper. Anakin lunged. Yoda deflected in a single, perfect motion, a parry, not a counter. His feet barely moved. His saber spun only once. Anakin drove forward again, saber crackling, raining down strikes meant to overwhelm, to drown. Yoda gave ground. Each deflection sparked brilliant green and red flares into the wind, lighting the smoke-choked sky above the lava plains. Padme watched from the edge of the platform, frozen between hope and horror. "You think you can reason with me?" Anakin shouted. "You abandoned me. You judged me, all of you." "Judged you were," Yoda admitted, "but never abandoned." Anakin leapt high, flipping over Yoda in a blur. The little Jedi spun, intercepting him midair. Sparks rained down as their blades locked. Yoda pushed him back with the Force, but not to injure, to pause, to give him a moment. They moved through the upper bridgeways of the fortress, steel and stone echoing each impact. Anakin was fast, faster than Yoda expected. Rage gave him energy. Guilt made him reckless. "You turned Padme against me." "No," Yoda said between movements. "What you became." "I became strong." Yoda leapt onto a railing, flipping over a burst of Anakin's saber swipes. "Then why tremble, do you?" Anakin screamed. He hurled a blast of the Force, ripping pipes from the walls, flames erupting in every direction. Yoda raised a hand and the fire bent around him. Anakin advanced again. They clashed again on a platform above the main lava river, the wind roaring, the heat distorting everything. Padme called out, "Anakin, please." Anakin paused, just for a heartbeat. Yoda stepped forward. "Do you remember her, or only what power cost you?" Anakin's blade trembled in his grip. "He promised you chains. He said I could save her." Yoda raised his blade, but not to strike, just to stand. "Then why die she will? If you do not stop," Anakin charged, one final time. They crossed blades again, this time spinning into the final causeway. The long bridge above the lava cracked, unstable. Yoda jumped clear, landing on a higher rock shelf, the high ground. He said nothing, just waited. Anakin stood below, chest heaving, cloak tattered. "You won't stop me. Will not try. Then I'll end this." Anakin leapt, saber raised, midair. Yoda caught him, not with the blade, with the Force. He held Anakin frozen in the air gently, then lowered him, set him on his knees. Anakin gasped, sweat poured down his face. His saber rolled from his hand and deactivated. Yoda stood across from him, his green blade humming low, then shutting off. Fear made you, but choice can unmake you. Anakin stared at the ground, shaking. He looked up at Padme. She looked at him with no hatred, only hope. I've done terrible things. Then stop, Yoda said, before more is lost. A long silence. Then, slowly, with effort, Anakin reached for Padme. She ran to him. He collapsed into her arms, weeping silently. Above them, the clouds split. Something dark approached. The Sith shuttle, sleek and dagger-shaped, descended onto the burning platform. Palpatine had arrived. His presence, even before his figure appeared, weighed on the air like smoke. Yoda turned. His voice was low, clear, resolved. Now comes the one who broke you. The Sith shuttle landed with perfect silence, its wings folding like a predator's claws. Steam hissed from its underside as the boarding ramp extended, casting a long shadow across the scorched platform. Emperor Palpatine emerged. His cloak barely moved in the wind, his face cold, unreadable, but not surprised. Not even at what he saw. Padme kneeling beside a humbled Anakin. Yoda standing above them, saber in hand but deactivated. Palpatine stopped a few steps from the bottom of the ramp. So, this is the choice, Lord Vader. His voice echoed like poison and stone. To kneel beside the wife you were willing to burn the galaxy for. To side with the Jedi who were ready to let her die. Anakin stood slowly, pain visible in every movement. You lied to me. Palpatine smiled, amused. I told you the truth you craved. You promised I could save her. And she is alive, Palpatine said. Because of the power I gave you. Because of the rage I nurtured in you. Yoda stepped forward. Not power. Poison. Palpatine's eyes narrowed. You should have died beneath the Senate floor, Master Yoda. Died, perhaps I should have. But live. To end you, I will. Palpatine raised his hands. The lightning that surged forward was blinding, arching toward Yoda like rivers of white fire. Yoda caught it midair, feet sliding backward as his body trembled under the pressure, but he held it. Anakin stood beside Padme, frozen. If you strike him down, she said softly, you'll never escape him. Anakin looked at her, then at Palpatine, then back at his own hands. Burned, bloodstained, shaking. Yoda pushed the lightning away and leapt, green saber igniting mid-flip. Palpatine's crimson blade met it with a shriek of metal and plasma. The impact cracked the platform. Their duel raged across the narrow bridge, sabers flashing like stars colliding. Yoda darted, leapt, twisted in midair, each strike not driven by fury, but by clarity. Palpatine's movements were savage, his form broken by arrogance, but fueled by dark will. They struck a crumbling tower. Rubble fell into the lava, and Anakin watched it all, until the smoke cleared and Palpatine raised a hand toward Padme. If she lives, you will die. Lightning surged from his palm, straight toward her, but it never reached her. Anakin stepped in front of it, caught it, and for the first time I resisted it. He screamed, teeth clenched, arms stretched wide. The lightning scorched his chest, but he stood. Palpatine's face twisted. You dare? Anakin shouted, I am not your slave. And then, Anakin Skywalker ignited his saber, ran forward, and joined Yoda. The battle changed. 2 blades, 1 green, 1 blue. Palpatine fell back not from fear, but from fury. You were to be my vessel. I was your victim, Anakin spat. You were my victory. The trio fought across the last remaining platform, high above a crashing lava fall. Sparks and smoke filled the air like a collapsing storm. At last, Palpatine misstepped. Yoda caught his saber in a lock. Anakin severed his grip. Palpatine screamed, both hands ablaze with lightning, one final burst. But Yoda leapt, spun through it, and drove his blade straight through Palpatine's chest. The Emperor's scream was a thunderclap, echoing across the world. And then, silence. His body crumpled. The air changed, lighter. The lava stilled. The storm broke. The darkness that had lingered for decades began to lift. Padme ran to Anakin. He collapsed into her arms. Yoda stood, not proud, not triumphant, just quiet. Over, the war is. The healing will take longer. The skies above Mustafar had never been blue, but now they weren't red. The ash had settled. The lava still flowed, but it no longer raged. And high above the platform where Palpatine had fallen, the shuttle that brought death and rebirth now soared away, carrying its passengers to a future that felt unwritten. Inside the ship, Padme sat beside Anakin. His robes were burned, his skin blistered. But the fire behind his eyes, the rage, the hunger, the confusion was gone. He stared at nothing. Padme reached for his hand. He let her hold it. "You saved me," she whispered. He didn't respond. Yoda sat across from them, silent, meditating. His eyes closed, his breathing steady. But he was listening, always listening. Hours later, the shuttle touched down on a quiet, hidden world, Polis Massa, remote and unassuming. There, Padme was taken to a small medical outpost. She lived. She gave birth to 2 children, and this time she did not die. Not from heartbreak, not from prophecy, because she was not alone. Anakin stood at the doorway as Luke and Leia were born, and wept silently. Later that night, he stood outside, beneath a sky full of stars that felt colder than he remembered. Yoda approached him. "Much lost there is." Anakin nodded. "It won't ever be enough." "Not about enough it is," Yoda said softly. "About beginning." "I don't deserve them." Yoda looked toward the sky. "Deserve, none of us do. But protect them, you must. Or all this, for nothing it was." Elsewhere in the base, Padme watched her children sleep, one in each arm. The war had broken everything, but in this moment they were whole. Then a breeze passed through the window, and standing beside her, faint but smiling, Obi-Wan. Not armored, not bloodied, just him. "You did what I couldn't," he said. Padme smiled through tears. "You were never meant to fight him." Obi-Wan's gaze softened. "No, I was meant to guide him. And maybe I still can." Anakin, standing alone away from the base. He feels something. Turns. Obi-Wan's ghost stands in the distance. They say nothing for a long time. Finally, "You should hate me," Anakin says. Obi-Wan's eyes glint with sadness. "I never stopped loving you." Anakin drops to his knees. "I'm so sorry." Obi-Wan steps closer, his voice gentle. "Then be better. Raise them better. End the cycle." And just like that, he fades. Yoda departs quietly, without ceremony, into exile. He returns to Dagobah not to hide, but to watch, to wait, to learn from stillness. Padme takes the children, retreating into the Outer Rim under a false identity, protected, quiet, alive. Anakin remains behind, watching from afar, never reclaiming his name, never returning to power. He walks the world as a scar, but a scar that does not reopen. The Jedi Temple remains empty, but its ruins are untouched. Across the galaxy, the name Skywalker becomes a whisper of something powerful and unknown. Yoda sits on a mossy log in Dagobah's mist. The swamp bubbles. The trees sway. A presence approaches. Obi-Wan appears beside him. Not a vision, a companion. He did choose, Yoda says. He did, Obi-Wan answers. The Force, it breathes again. They sit together in silence, side by side. Above them, through the trees, a sun breaks the cloud line. A new dawn.
And that is going to conclude the What If series with what if Obi-Wan fought Palpatine, and also what if Yoda fought Darth Vader on Mustafar. It's definitely an interesting question, because if the roles were reversed, I think the fight would have been completely different. I think that Yoda probably would have been able to maybe communicate a little bit better with Anakin, and I personally think that he might have actually stood a chance to turn him back to the light side. I think Obi-Wan was very emotional during the fight, and I think Yoda, being a Grand Master and having patience, I think that he might have been able to do it, but then maybe not. Maybe it would have been even worse. Maybe this would have ticked off Anakin even more just to, fight Yoda. So again, that's my version of the story. I know that there's tons of different YouTubers who have, different versions of this particular storyline. So let me know what you think about this particular video. But that being said, my fellow watchers of the multiverse, let me know how you are enjoying Star Wars Week. Do make sure to subscribe, like, share, and turn those notifications on so you and your friends are all up to date with the latest content. Do make sure to get your Grand Theft Kenobi merchandise available on the Fourth Wall MissedThePart website. From the high ground to the hood, it's absolutely crazy. I know it's such an insane crossover, but that's what we do here on the channel. Expect the unexpected. But that being said, I will see you in the next episode. Take care and have a wonderful day. Peace out.